The email arrived at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Subject line: immediate termination. No warning, no discussion, just cold corporate efficiency from a company I'd helped build for 7 years. I'm Sophia Martinez, and until that moment, I was the Senior Vice President of Client Relations at Vertex Solutions, one of the fastest-growing digital marketing firms in Chicago. My crime? Suggesting we adjust our pricing strategy to keep our top clients from jumping ship to more competitive agencies. Your negative attitude is disrupting team morale, the email read. Translation: I dared to question CEO Michael Bennett's latest cash grab. I sat in my corner office, staring at the sleek downtown skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows that would no longer be mine in about 15 minutes. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd landed, or managed 80% of the clients whose payments had funded these fancy offices, including the Italian leather chair Michael now sat in 3 floors above me. Right on cue, HR's Linda appeared at my door, security guard in tow. "We'll need your badge and laptop," she said, not quite meeting my eyes. We'd had lunch together last week. I handed them over without a word, then reached into my desk drawer and pulled out my personal notebook. The one where I'd documented every client interaction, every strategy, every relationship I'd built over 7 years. Michael had never understood that our business wasn't about flashy presentations or expensive lunches. It was about trust, about understanding what kept CEOs awake at night and solving problems they hadn't even recognized yet. "You'll need to sign these," Linda said, placing a stack of papers on my desk. Non-compete agreements, NDAs, standard corporate handcuffs. I glanced at them, then looked up at Linda with a smile that made her step back slightly. "No, I don't think I will. It's standard procedure. It's unenforceable," I corrected her. I checked with my lawyer 6 months ago when Michael started pushing out other senior executives. Illinois law is quite clear on this. Her face paled. She knew I was right. I'd always done my homework. As security escorted me out, I caught glimpses of my team through the glass walls. Mia, the brilliant strategist I'd mentored for 3 years, looked close to tears. James from Creative was shaking his head in disbelief. They were good people, true talents. They deserved better than Michael's leadership. In the elevator, my phone buzzed. A text from Marcus Reynolds, CEO of Reynolds Tech, one of our biggest clients. "Heard the news. This is a mistake. Call me when you're free." I smiled, remembering Michael's words from our last executive meeting. Clients don't care about individuals. They care about the brand. The security guard walked me to my car, awkwardly trying to avoid conversation. As I put my box of belongings in the trunk, I heard familiar laughter. Michael stood on the smoking terrace above, sharing what looked like a joke with his new executive team. All men, all from his country club, all spectacularly unqualified for their positions. He caught sight of me and raised his coffee cup in a mock toast. I gave him a small wave in return, which seemed to unsettle him more than anger would have. The drive home to my loft in Lincoln Park was surreal. 7 years of 80-hour weeks, missed family events, relationships sacrificed on the altar of corporate success, all ended with a single email. But instead of grief or anger, I felt something unexpected. Freedom. Because Michael had forgotten something crucial, something that would come back to haunt him in the weeks ahead. I parked in my garage and carried my box upstairs, past the home office I'd barely used except on weekends. Inside were 3 things Michael didn't know about. A complete business plan I'd been refining for the past year. A list of industry contacts I'd maintained independent of Vertex. And most importantly, a prototype platform I developed with a team of freelance developers. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Marcus Reynolds. "Seriously, call me." We need to talk about the future. I smiled, thinking about Michael's dismissive attitude toward client relationships. He thought customers stayed for the Vertex brand, for the fancy offices and overpriced strategies. He had no idea that every major client I managed had my personal cell number, that we spoke regularly about their businesses, their goals, their fears. I opened my laptop, my personal one, not the corporate device I'd surrendered, and pulled up a document I'd been saving for the right moment. Articles of incorporation for a new company, Catalyst Digital Solutions. The name wasn't an accident. In chemistry, a catalyst is something that creates change without being consumed by it. That's exactly what I'd been doing at Vertex, transforming clients' businesses while Michael took the credit. But now, it was time for a different kind of transformation. My phone kept buzzing. More messages from clients, industry contacts, even competitors who tried to hire me away from Vertex. I let them wait. First, I had a call to make. Anna? It's Sophia. Remember that conversation we had about going independent? How do you feel about starting now instead of next year? Anna Torres had been my first hire at Vertex before Michael pushed her out for being too focused on client satisfaction instead of billable hours. She'd landed at a bigger agency, but had been dropping hints about wanting something more meaningful. Are you serious? She asked. What about your non-compete? Unenforceable, and I've got 3 clients ready to jump ship as soon as we're set up. There was a pause, then a laugh. You planned this, didn't you? You knew Michael would eventually show his true colors. Let's just say I believe in being prepared. Are you in? When do we start? I looked at my watch, 11:23 a.m., less than 2 hours since that termination email. How about now? By sunset, I had commitments from 5 former Vertex employees, all top performers who'd left or been pushed out by Michael's new vision. Each brought unique skills, client relationships, and most importantly, a hunger to build something better. I ordered pizza and spread documents across my dining room table, market analyses, competitor profiles, financial projections. This wasn't just about revenge. This was about creating something that should have existed all along. A digital marketing agency that actually put clients first. My phone buzzed one last time. Michael's number. I let it go to voicemail. Sophia. His voice was tense, trying to sound casual. Heard you've been talking to Marcus Reynolds. Just a reminder about your contractual obligations. Let's be professional about this. I deleted the message and opened my email to find 6 new client meeting requests for the following week. 2 were from companies that had turned down Vertex's pitches, claiming our fees were too high. They'd actually been telling us something different. Our value proposition wasn't strong enough. That was about to change. As I worked late into the night, finalizing proposals and sketching out service packages, I thought about Michael's parting shot from the smoking terrace. He thought he was ending my career. Instead, he'd just given me the push I needed to start something bigger than he could imagine. Tomorrow, I would begin reaching out to clients. Not to steal them. That would be crude. No, I would simply let them know about an exciting new option in the digital marketing space. One led by someone who understood their businesses inside and out. Michael thought he was the wolf, and I was the sheep. He was about to learn an expensive lesson about assumptions. And the best part? He'd never see it coming. 1 week after my termination, I sat in a sleek conference room at the Reynolds Tech headquarters, watching Marcus Reynolds read through my proposal for Catalyst Digital Solutions. The silence was heavy with potential. This pricing structure, he said finally, looking up. It's 30% lower than Vertex's, but with more deliverables. Because we don't have to support unnecessary overhead, I replied. No marble lobbies, no corporate retreats to Aspen, no bloated executive salaries, just results. Marcus nodded slowly. And the team. Ana Torres handling strategy. James Chen running creative. Yes, the same James who designed your last 3 campaigns. Maria Rodriguez managing data analytics. All former Vertex stars who left for the same reasons I did. Michael's going to have a fit, Marcus mused, a slight smile playing at his lips. Michael's going to have bigger problems soon, I said quietly. Have you looked closely at your last 3 reports from Vertex? Marcus frowned. What do you mean? I pulled out a detailed analysis I'd prepared. They've been recycling strategies across clients, even competitors. Same templates, same approaches, just with different logos slapped on. You're paying premium prices for cookie-cutter work. His face darkened as he reviewed the evidence. I'd spent years building trust with Marcus, and he knew I wouldn't make accusations without proof. When can you start? I smiled. We already have. Check your email. There's a preliminary audit of your current digital presence with specific recommendations. Consider it a good faith demonstration. By the time I left Reynolds Tech, I had a signed contract for twice the budget I'd proposed. Marcus didn't just want to switch agencies, he wanted to send a message. Back at our temporary office, a converted industrial loft in Rigger North that actually had more character than Vertex's sterile space, the team was growing. Word had spread that something new was brewing, and talent was flooding in. Sophia, Anna called as I walked in. The Murphy account just reached out. They want to meet tomorrow. Murphy Global was Vertex's second largest client. I'd personally handled their expansion into Asian markets last year, a project Michael had tried to take credit for at the annual agency awards. Also, Anna continued, lowering her voice, Maya just quit Vertex. She's in the break room if you want to say hello. I found Mia making coffee, looking both nervous and excited. I couldn't stay, she blurted before I could speak. After seeing what they did to you, how they're running things now, please tell me you have room for another strategist. I hugged her. I've been saving a desk for you. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text from Linda in HR. Michael's on a rampage. Reynolds' termination letter arrived. 3 other clients asking for their files. He's called 4 emergency board meetings in 2 days. I didn't respond, but I saved the message. Linda had been sending these updates all week, her small act of rebellion against a toxic system. By Friday, we had our first crisis. Michael's lawyers sent cease and desist letters to everyone who'd left Vertex, claiming breach of contract and theft of trade secrets. I gathered the team in our main space. Who's worried about these letters? Nervous glances were exchanged until Anna spoke up. They can't really enforce those agreements, right? I projected our lawyer's response onto the wall. All non-compete agreements are invalid under current state law. Client relationships and industry knowledge are not proprietary information. Vertex Solutions has no legal basis for their claims. The relief was palpable. But that's not why I called this meeting, I continued. Look around this room. 2 weeks ago, we were all following someone else's vision, working in golden handcuffs. Now we're building something of our own. The question is, what exactly are we building? For the next 3 hours, we mapped out not just a business plan, but a manifesto. Catalyst wouldn't just be another digital agency. We'd be partners in our clients' growth, with skin in the game, performance-based fees, profit sharing, real innovation, not recycled templates. As we worked, my phone kept buzzing with updates from Linda. Michael just fired the entire creative department. 3 more board meetings scheduled. Clients asking questions about staff turnover. Emergency calls with investors. I smiled, remembering Michael's mockery when he'd heard rumors of my new venture. Good luck competing with us. You'll be bankrupt in months. Instead, Vertex was hemorrhaging talent and clients while we grew stronger each day. But the best was yet to come. Monday morning, I walked into a meeting with Universal Brands, Vertex's largest and most prestigious client. Their CNO, David Chen, had been skeptical of Michael's leadership for months. Honestly, David said after I'd presented our approach, "We were waiting for someone like you to create an alternative. Michael's been coasting on your reputation for years. Everyone knew it was you handling the real strategy." I left with not just a signed contract, but an introduction to 3 other potential clients. By the time I returned to our office, the team had popped champagne. "Universal Brands?" Anna asked, offering me a glass. "Universal Brands," I confirmed. "And they're bringing their entire portfolio." The celebration was interrupted by an urgent call from Marcus Reynolds. "Sophia, you need to see this. Michael just sent a company-wide email at Vertex. Someone leaked it to industry blogs." I pulled up the link he sent. Michael's message was a masterpiece of corporate denial. "Recent changes in staffing and client relationships reflect our strategic repositioning. Vertex remains the market leader in digital innovation. Any rumors of instability are competitor-driven propaganda." The comments section told a different story. Former employees shared stories of toxic leadership. Industry insiders posted about declining quality. Clients questioned the strategic repositioning narrative. "Should we respond?" Anna asked, reading over my shoulder. I shook my head. "We don't punch down. Let's focus on building something better." That evening, as I reviewed our growth projections, Linda sent one final update. "Board called emergency session for tomorrow." Heard words like vote of no confidence and leadership transition. I closed my laptop and looked around our office. In just 2 weeks, we'd assembled a dream team, landed major clients, and built a foundation for something revolutionary. But this wasn't about destroying Vertex. It was about creating what should have existed all along, an agency that valued talent, respected clients, and understood that real success comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Michael himself. "We should talk. Name your price to end this." I didn't bother responding. He still didn't get it. This was never about price. It was about value. And he was about to learn the difference. The morning of Vertex's emergency board meeting dawned bright and cold. I watched the sun rise over Lake Michigan from our new office space, a converted warehouse in the West Loop that we transformed into something special. Open collaboration areas, state-of-the-art technology, and most importantly, walls covered in client success stories. 3 months had passed since my termination. In that time, Catalyst had grown from an idea to a force that was reshaping the industry. "Sophia?" Anna appeared in my doorway, tablet in hand. "You need to see this." She pulled up the morning's industry news. The headline made me catch my breath. "Vertex SOLUTION CEO MyScale BNETT Faces Board VOTE ANICLIENTEXOUS and Staff of DPR TURES. The article detailed everything: the loss of major accounts, the mass exodus of talent, and most damaging, anonymous quotes from current employees about mismanagement and toxic leadership. "That's not all," Anna said, swiping to another screen. "Our Q1 numbers just came in." I studied the figures, double-checking to make sure they were real. In just 3 months, Catalyst had achieved what Vertex took 7 years to build. But more importantly, we'd done it the right way. My phone buzzed. A text from Linda. Michael just arrived. He looks terrible. Board members are already here. I set my phone down and turned to Anna. How's the Universal Brands campaign looking? Her smile was bright. We launched the new strategy yesterday. Their engagement metrics are up 300% from their best numbers with Vertex. Perfect timing, I murmured. Just then, Maria burst into my office. The Thompson Group is here for their pitch meeting. And Sophia, you're not going to believe who's with them. I walked into our main conference room and had to suppress a smile. Sitting there was not just the Thompson Group's executive team, but also Robert Chase, chairman of Vertex's board. Ms. Martinez, Robert said, standing to shake my hand. I hope you don't mind me crashing this meeting. I've been hearing interesting things about Catalyst. Not at all, I replied smoothly. We believe in transparency here. The next hour was a masterclass in everything we built. We showed them real results, innovative strategies, and most importantly, a team that worked together seamlessly. No ego, no politics, just excellence. Halfway through our presentation, my phone lit up with another message from Linda. Michael just tried to present a strategic restructuring plan to save the company. Board members laughed out loud. Robert Chase watched us intently, saying little, but noting everything. After we finished, he stayed behind, while the Thompson team left to discuss their decision. Impressive operation you've built here, he said, walking around our office. Very different from Vertex. We had a different vision, I replied. Clearly. He paused at our wall of client success stories. You know, Michael told the board you'd fail within months. Said clients would never follow a mid-level executive to a new agency. I smiled. How's that prediction working out? About as well as his leadership. Robert turned to face me. The board is voting today on his removal, but we have a bigger problem. The company is bleeding talent and clients. Our stock has dropped 40% in 3 months. Sounds challenging. It is. Which is why I'm here. He pulled out a folder. We want to acquire Catalyst. I blinked. This I hadn't expected. Full autonomy, he continued. You'd run both companies, rebuild Vertex under the Catalyst model. Michael would be out completely. Interesting offer, I said carefully. Why not just hire me back as CEO? Because this isn't about just changing leadership. It's about changing culture. You've built something special here. Something we need. I looked around at what we created. The energy, the innovation, the genuine joy in our work. I'll need to discuss it with my team, I said. We make decisions together here. Robert nodded. Of course, but don't take too long. The board meets in 2 hours. After he left, I called an all-hands meeting. Every member of Catalyst gathered in our main space as I explained the offer. So they want to buy us? Mia asked. After everything they did. They want to become us, Anna corrected. There's a difference. I looked at the faces around me. People who'd taken a risk, who'd believed in building something better. This isn't my decision alone, I said. We started this together. We decide together. The discussion lasted an hour. People raised concerns, saw opportunities, debated possibilities. Finally, Anna stood up. I think we all know what we want, she said. But the real question is, what would make the biggest impact? I smiled, remembering why I'd hired her first. 30 minutes later, I sat in my office composing an email to Robert Chase. As I wrote, Linda sent another update. Board meeting starting. Michael looks like he's seen a ghost. I finished the email and hit send, then gathered the team again. "It's done," I announced. "I just sent our counter-offer." Instead of selling Catalyst, we proposed a merger of equals. Both companies would adopt Catalyst's culture and business model. We keep both client bases, but transform everything else. Most importantly, we'd retain our independence and values. "Bold move," Anna said. "Think they'll accept?" My phone buzzed with Robert's response. "Board reviewing now." Michael just walked out. 20 minutes later, Robert called. The board had unanimously approved our terms. Michael, they informed me, had resigned rather than work under my leadership. The news spread fast. Industry blogs lit up with headlines. Digital Marketing DISRUPTD KTLOEST and VERTEXNERGE in revolutionary deal. Sophia Memartias FRM fired EEXECUTIVE to industry PIONER. How AASTORTUV transformed a legacy agency. That evening, we hosted a company-wide meeting for both teams. The Vertex employees looked shell-shocked, alternating between hope and skepticism. "I know many of you are wondering what happens next," I began. "The answer is simple. We build something extraordinary. Not by following old rules or serving egos, but by creating real value for our clients and our people." As I outlined our vision, I saw the skepticism fade, replaced by excitement. By the end, even the most hardened Vertex veterans were nodding. Later that night, as I packed up my office, I found an old photo from my Vertex days, me with my original team, all of us smiling, still believing in the promise of building something meaningful. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Michael, sent from his personal email. "Congratulations. You won. I underestimated you." I didn't respond. Instead, I pinned the old photo to our wall of success stories, a reminder of where we started and how far we'd come. The next morning, I arrived early to find our office already full. Vertex and Catalyst teams were working together, sharing ideas, breaking down the walls that had separated them. Hannah appeared at my side. "Pretty amazing, isn't it? 3 months ago, they fired you. Now you're running both companies." I shook my head. "No, we're running both companies." That's what Michael never understood. True success isn't about individual power. It's about building something bigger than yourself. "Speaking of building," she grinned, "wait until you see the new client requests that came in this morning." As I walked through our transformed office, greeting both old faces and new, I thought about Michael's mockery the day I left Vertex. Good luck competing with us. He'd been right about the luck part. We didn't need it. We had something better. We had vision, values, and most importantly, we had each other. And that was just the beginning.